this year off, isn't it, everyone? We have already raised $147,182 for the Prevent Cancer Foundation on day one. I know, depending on time zone, it may already be day two, but for me, it is 9:29 p.m. This is still very much day one momentum. I wonder how soon we can get 150K, chat. We are super duper close. That would be a really cool milestone. I think we could do that very, very soon. Please get your donations in. Oh, and donations have, of course, been coming in. I'm checking on that Portal bonus game again. That's climbing up. Just over $60,000 to go, and we can bring a bonus game into the marathon. That's going to be fantastic. Of course, all of your donations are what's going to get us there. We have $50 from Maybe Your Pie, who says, this run, less than 3, with an adorable smiley face. Thank you again so much, everyone, for sending in your donations. And with that, it is time for an epic adventure as we go into Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and the any percent Nosferatu category with Vysetra. Take it away.
Hey, thank you very much for the introduction. I am Vysetra. I'm going to be running any percent Nosferatu for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Joining me on comms is Vynn, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. My name is Vynn, and I am a Bloodlines enthusiast.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, Bloodlines enthusiast. That's what we're all about here. Okay, so getting started. I will count us in when it comes to starting time and the likes, but I want to just quickly demonstrate a feature, not a bug, not a quirk, but a feature of the patch that we're going to be playing on. So, version 1.1 for speedrunning uses a little trick where you can keep allocating your stat points and just max everything out all at once, straight from the get-go, which is a little broken. It means that you will be wildly ahead of what you're supposed to be, but instead of making everyone wait and watch me do all this, I'm going to actually load a save with all of this pre-done, and then we'll be getting into the run. So, I shall count down from 3, and on go, we shall start time. So, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So, VTMB is a fantastic game, for one. Star-studded cast when it comes to voice actors. Sadly, we'll be missing out on a lot of the talent because we're going to be skipping the vast majority of it. But the chap that we were just speaking to a moment ago, that we just scrolled through the dialogue, was John DiMaggio. I hope I'm pronouncing his surname right. He is the voice actor for Waka in Final Fantasy X. He was the voice of Bender in Futurama, and I think he was Jake in Adventure Time. So, 3 pretty good roles to identify somebody. Anyway, we skip the tutorial, and we're going to nip down into Trip's pawn shop, and we're just going to buy the lockpick from him. Ordinarily, you would get that from doing the tutorial, but we're not doing that. So, now, the shining beacon of movement tech. Movement joyers rejoice. We have got bunny hopping in this game. And that is going to be the primary way that we move around.
Huh?
Ooh, I'm not so sure this will work. Okay, so.
Might.
Tourette skip. Yeah, that worked. I'm quite pleased with that. Ordinarily, okay, so I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. What we're doing is a bit of a sequence break already. Ordinarily, when you leave your Santa Monica apartments, is you would be meeting up with a chap called Mercurio. And what Mercurio would do is send you on a task to recover some astrolites. Now, what is astrolite? It's just an explosion. It's just you think of it however you like, but it makes things go bang. And the reason for that is we're going to be taking on I guess, would you call them rivals, Vynn? Like the Sabbat? I suppose.
Yeah, they're pretty much the most destructive force in the whole vampire kingdom, pretty much, I suppose. I mean, I'm just going to say kingdom. It's a terrible word for it, but I'm just going with it. The Sabbat are just absolutely in tune with their beast, which is, you know, being anti-human as possible. They're loud and proud about what they do, and they just don't care. So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So if you think of it as the Sabbat are the antagonists, as it were, and then you've got the Camarilla, which is sort of like law and order, the vampire government, and, you know, they uphold this thing called the Masquerade. Now, the Masquerade is essentially a set of norms and behaviors that all kindred or vampires have to abide by, because it's to not let normal human beings realize that vampires very much do exist, which is, I gotta say, if I was a vampire, I would not want ordinary humans to know that I was, you know, undead in any capacity. So we've got the Camarilla and we've got the Sabbat, but then there is a third faction called the Anarchs. Now, the Anarchs, we'll get to them because we are going to meet some later in the run. This is going to be a fantastic introduction cutscene as well. Anyway, neat little tech. Just open this door. We'll be coming back through here later, well, in about a minute's time or so. You can open it by just aiming your camera towards the door frame and just opening the door. Because you can open quite a few locked doors in VTMB that you shouldn't be able to actually access. There's an example in one of the older routes where you would skip half of the Nosferatu Warrens by opening a door that you should not be able to open just by opening it from an angle. Speaking of the Nosferatu Warrens, there is a big sequence break later in the run that I'll be very happy to demonstrate and show, which is a new tech since it was last ran at GDQ. Right. Oop, I missed the little hop. That is embarrassing, but it's quite all right. Anyway, so the purpose of going through that little hotel there is called the Ocean House Hotel, is to recover a pendant for Jeanette or Therese. You get to choose who you give it to. In this run, we won't be giving it to Jeanette because reasons, and we'll be giving it to Therese. Because we are doing an 90% run, we are skipping a lot of story. So it's going to be quite an abridged version of events that you're going to be getting. But we'll do that in turn. Anyway, earlier we moved Jeanette over to this elevator by standing on her head. So I'm going to make a quick save here. And what we're going to do is mash through the dialogue.
I'm not. She's always. Do you understand?
And then, once she goes to play with the elevator and just walk away, we're going to bring up the inventory, close it, and then hold the W key to try and block these doors. Now, it's important that we do actually have the FPS set to unlocked, so you can see in the top right corner that it was probably, like 200 odd FPS at the time. Now, this game runs on the Source engine, and a very, very early version of it at that, so the physics are a little janky, but that's not a criticism by any means. It's a product of its time, which I will, you'll see for yourself. Every time I go through a door, I'll be dropping the FPS to 60 because you can get trapped indoors and it will kill your run. I'm having...
Kill you.
Yeah, it genuinely can as well, which is no exaggeration. It will kill you. It will kill your run. Not in real life. That's anyway. We're going to jump through the ceiling. Right, because that's something that we can just do.
Excellent.
You're not supposed to be able to do that, but it's a simple clip. You get pulled into this character's range, and she's called Therese. Now, she is
Just do what I ask.
Jeanette's sister, which is that Harley Quinn lookalike that you probably thought, oh, that character looks a lot like Harley Quinn. I've got some good news for you, friends. Well, maybe not good news, but Jeanette is often cited as the inspiration for the modern look of Harley Quinn. Right. We're going to drop this lockpick in between these doors, and we're going to try and leave it as fast as we can. We're going to make our way over to the diner, because we need to go make amends with Jeanette and Therese and, you know, cover up the sibling rivalry. It's fine. Instead, we're not going to do that. We're going to kill these guys by punching them to death. Vampires.
Yeah.
I messed up. That's right, go on.
I was just going to say it's very interesting playing as a Nosferatu as well, because thankfully there's the Malkavian as well as the Nosferatu. They get very unique dialogue options, and in the case of Nosferatu, you were so hideous you were not meant to even be seen by humans at all, and which is the case for why people run screaming away from the mere sight of you.
I do love that thing about the Nosferatu as well, where you've got such a grotesque and grisly appearance that you couldn't possibly be human. So you're very, like, being seen by a normal human being in, well, not necessarily daylight, but just out and around at night is a masquerade violation. Okay.
Which we actually got.
Wait, did we? Oh, yeah, because I ran up to those
got
guys.
one.
Yeah. Hey, I'm so glad I saved here. Okay, so...
Don't worry, it's just a little bit of manipulation.
Yeah. No, it's totally intentional. Totally intentional. Right, that can happen sometimes, but sometimes this character will decide to just not react to your presence and just continue pointing a gun at a door. We have a...
Don't you want to shut up?
Sorry, go on.
I'm the taken. Is that
No, she just wasn't sure about whether or not she wanted to talk to you yet.
trust Father love? Father can't. Don't listen to Therese. That's a as I recall.
Right,
Why?
so
Therese, Jeanette, if you do.
the big twist, and there is
Of course. But I
a lot of bleak understory to this character.
Yes. When I
Her
was
name is
kid,
often shortened to Tourette. It's like a hybrid of Jeanette and Therese just mashed together. And she is of Clan Malkavian.
Please give
And Malkavians are known as a clan with very, as Vynn said, they have unique dialogue options, is one way of putting it. But they are cursed with a pretty, well, I suppose it varies from person to person, but they got dealt a very bad hand on top of being made into kindred, which is a shame. They can be quite eccentric, but they are also quite prophetic in the sense that they can see things in the future that, you know, they shouldn't know, but they do. Anyway.
Not all Malkavians are worth listening to, but a few of them are.
Yeah. Bertram is another Nosferatu that we were just mashing the dialogue through. But he has escorted us to this Sabat warehouse. Now, ordinarily, you'd have the Astrolite at this point already. Well, you do anyway by default, but you'd have gotten it from doing Mercurio's quest, right? Not this time. We didn't do it, so we don't technically have the Astrolite, but we're going to plant it anyway. Which is fine. The game
Which is good
does what it
on
wants. Just standard state of affairs. Okie dokie.
And because no one sees you, you're able to just run out the front door like that.
Yeah, Obfuscate is a discipline or a magic ability, if you want to simplify it in any terms of, well, just in terms. Obfuscate is a discipline that is available to the Nosferatu and Clan Malkavian.
I see. Tell me.
Obfuscate literally just turns you invisible. At max rank, you can run around and you've got no issues with it. You're just going to be fine. It honestly breaks the game in quite a few ways. But another discipline for the Nosferatu is Potent, which is superhuman strength. And then their last discipline is Animalism. Now, the Animalism discipline is going to be very important for the two major sequence breaks that we've got in this run. Namely Grout Skip and Romero Skip. That said, before we get any deeper into story or anything like that, this is a pretty good time to kick it over to our host, actually, for some donations.
Oh, wonderful. We definitely have those. We have $5 from Breezeby, who says, "Hey, Vysetra, I won't be awake to see this run live, but I wanted to send in a donation for one of my favorite games of all time. The community behind VTM Bloodlines is the coolest for making this game into what it is today. Good luck on the run, and say a quick hello to Jeanette for me."
Thank you very much. I'll make sure to go back and say hi.
We also have $51 from Decha, who says, "Love the event. Please never stop this amazing support for those in need." And it's all of your support. All of you out there who are donating are making this event what it is. Thank you so much, and please keep those donations coming.
Those of you sitting
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much for those donations, folks. Okay, so this is a 90-second odd long cutscene that we have nothing to do with it. It's purely just you watch it happen. Introducing Nines Rodriguez. He is an Anarch, which is that third sort of faction that I mentioned earlier. The Anarchs, they uphold the Masquerade, but they don't necessarily agree with the Camarilla. So if you think of them as the... Oh, how would I even split this up? I guess the Sabbat would be what? Chaotic evil? The Camarilla would be lawful good?
You're both dead.
What would you say the Anarchs are then?
The Sabbat and lives.
They're also pretty lawful good, in my opinion. Just they abide by this whole Masquerade, but they don't believe that the Camarilla should have a monopoly on it. And the Camarilla is basically just like this whole system where at the top you have a prince, and then there's ranks going down lower and lower and lower, but the Anarchs are completely against that, pretty much, where they just, they like a flat hierarchy, even though technically, you know, there's barons as well, which is kind of like a prince, and then Lions, you know, he's kind of like a prince anyway. They're just not part of the Camarilla, but they agree by the same kind of thing. They just don't like the whole corporate jazz that the Camarilla's doing, essentially. I'm trying to break it down.
There's a lot to really break down when it comes down to it as well. Like, just going back to what one person said in their donation, like, this is a fantastic game. I would say play this game for yourself if you haven't already. You will get lost in this game very, very easily. There is a whole lot to it. No matter how much summarizing we attempt to do in commentary to explain the story of this with this game, it is we've got no chance of doing it justice. Your best bet is to experience it yourself. Anyway, so we did just go and meet Nines Rodriguez in the last round, and we essentially said that we aren't interested in what he's selling. What we're going to do for this run is side with Prince LaCroix.
There you are.
So,
You've done well. You may.
Initially, when you land in downtown, you can meet up with a whole bunch of different people. So you've got Maximilian Strauss, which we'll only get a glimpse of in an upcoming cutscene. You've got Prince LaCroix, obviously, which is the guy that we were just speaking to, and Nines Rodriguez. We're not going to do all of that. All we're going to do is go to LaCroix now. Well, we've already been to LaCroix. And get on with the main quest, which is to do with something called the Ankaran Sarcophagus. And this is the overarching main story for VTM Bloodlines. LaCroix has tasked us with going to inspect or investigate a boat on the Santa Monica Pier called the Great Dane, as it is rumoured to have a sarcophagus which houses an antediluvian. Now, an antediluvian is a... Okay, I always get this wrong, but is it a 3rd or 4th generation vampire?
An antediluvian, it's within about 5th generation or lower, so the closer you are to Cain, essentially.
It essentially means before the flood, right? So, generations of vampires, the lower that number is, the closer you are to Cain, essentially. So 1st generation would be, I am literally cursed by God. 2nd generation would be like direct descendants of Cain himself. Oh, I didn't get the flick. That is so sad.
3rd generation, my bad.
Oh, it is 3rd generation. Okay. In which case,
yeah.
You know what? Close enough. But anyway, in VTM, there is an act called Diablerie. And Diablerie is essentially an unforgivable act where you consume and become more powerful courtesy of another vampire. So if you were to diablerize an antediluvian, for example, you would become so astronomically powerful that you would be borderline, you'd be a force of nature. It would be, you'd have immense swing of power in politics of the underworld. Honestly, I don't think there are any other vampires or characters in VTMB that have such astronomical power. So if there was an antediluvian in this game, there wouldn't be any match. They would just flat out be the most powerful beings. Anyway, we've investigated the Dane. We saw that the Ankaran sarcophagus looked or appeared to have been opened. And now we're going to go report back to Prince LaCroix what we found. And coming up is a section called Grout's Mansion. Now, Grout's Mansion has some new tech. I mentioned there was 2 since this was last run at GDQ. And the first one is coming up.
I've said all I need to for now.
Well, I say it's coming up. It's coming up in about like 30, 40 seconds. So that guy in the red coat that you just saw, that is now clipping into himself, that is Maximilian Strauss. He is a Tremere. Well, he's the Tremere Elder. Elders are vampires that have their own sort of domain and are at least, I think, 300 to 350 years old,
One more thing.
if the lore is to be believed. So, Maximilian Strauss, very powerful. But he's also aligned with the Camarilla. He has some reservations about LaCroix, but that's for you guys to find out about yourself when you play for it yourself.
No.
So,
You should get.
we've travelled to Grout's mansion. Bring up the inventory to move around in that cutscene that you shouldn't be able to move around in. And I am going to quickly... Oh my goodness, my movement is tragic. Right, so...
Oh, you're fine.
Grout Skip, what it is using one of our disciplines, well, an animalism discipline called Bloodsucker's Communion. What this is going to do is we're going to bring this guy over here next to this bookcase. We're going to stun him, jump on his head, jump onto this bookcase, and then we're going to try and use a frame perfect trick, which will elevate us to the second floor, which will save, even casually, it'll save a couple of minutes. It's worth going for once you know how to do it, but it is pretty tricky, so I'm going to hand this over to the host for some donations so I can just try and focus on this for a little bit.
Wonderful. We have $100 from Hamburger Tuesday who says, "Hi donation team," smiley face. Thank you so much for that. I love seeing those come through. We also have $25 from the board guy who says, "Hey Vysetra, it's been fun watching you practice for this run, and I hope nothing funny happens with any doors. Good luck and let's fight cancer." I agree. Oh, we have one from Anarch Baron Tony, $10, who says, "Dear Vysetra, as the Anarch Baron of Rochester and a Nosferatu myself, what is your favorite clan? Also, hello donation team and other GDQ staff and Night Dwellers. Please have a wonderful night and forget you saw this violation of the Masquerade." We'll do our best to forget. Do you have a favorite clan?
I absolutely do. It is actually Clan Nosferatu is my favorite. I am sewer rat through and through. I have failed the skip twice. Well, I've got it nearly twice. We can keep going with some more donations whilst I struggle with this skip.
All right, you can do it. We have $25 from Alpha of the Deluge who says, "Hi donation team. Hope you're all having a good morning /day /evening /night. Smiley face. Thank you so much. Shout outs to our restreams, by the way, and shout outs to everyone watching around the world, donating from wherever you are. We really appreciate it. You're helping us out. You're helping us make a difference for the Prevent Cancer Foundation and everyone whose lives they touch. Going along with that, we have $50 from I Like Cake who says, "Hype!" Yes, hype indeed. I agree with the hype. And we have $250 from Toby M who says, "Thank you all for everything you do." Well, thank you again to all of you donating. Again, you're the ones who are making that donation total go up and up. We are so close to that 150K mark. I would love to hit that soon. So if you get your donations in now, you can be part of that. Would love to see them come through.
That is a fantastic series of donations. Okay, I'm ever so gutted to say that I'm still struggling to get this. So if I'm going to say, yeah, if you've got any more to read out, then we can keep going.
Oh, of course. I want to make sure everyone's up to date on some of our bid wars really quickly. For SSX coming up a couple runs from now, Kaori is still in the lead, but Zoe is close behind. Again, Zoe's the fast option, so if you want to see a runner go as fast as possible, make sure to get those donations in for Zoe in that SSX character choice bid war. That is a snowboarding game for anyone who hasn't seen it before. It's super fun to watch, so keep those donations coming through.
Perfect timing. Excellent. Okay, so we did get it eventually. It was a little rough. We nearly got it twice relatively in decent time, but then it all went all a bit too not good. Anyway, words. So we got the skip. Even though that took us quite a while to get, that was still faster than running all the way around. So we're going to move further into Grout's mansion.
Hey, stop right there.
And just work our way through it. We're going to meet up with an interesting character as well that doesn't really like us very much, courtesy of us being kindred. Vynn, any thoughts on the theory? In fact, no, we'll get to that in about 40 seconds time when we realize what's gone on. But prepare your brain, because I'd like to hear what you think to the... Oh my goodness, this is so bad.
It's fine.
This is a rough little area here, but
It makes the later part of the game a little bit easier. Don't worry about it.
true, it absolutely does. At least that's what I'm going to tell you and pretend that's true. No, it does.
Sweet little lies.
Right. So, we are about to reach a character called Grout. Grout is the Malkavian Primogen. What was supposed to happen is, when we saw Maximilian Strauss and the others in Lacroix's room, is a gathering of all the Primogen for different clans, right? They were all a little on edge that the Sabbat is in downtown and posing a threat to both Camarilla and Kain alike. However, Grout, the Malkavian Primogen, was not present, and they were getting increasingly concerned about his well-being. Oh no! No, Grout? What's wrong, man? Grout's dead.
It's just having a nap.
He looks pretty cozy, but I don't know. I'm a keen fan of believing, unless you see them die on screen, they are still alive. That is some nth degree copium from me. I want to believe that Grout is still alive. Anyway, that bloke that we were just talking to is called Bach, and he is a vampire hunter. My movement is Dogwater. He isn't a fan of Kindred. He is a part of the Society of Leopold. Now, the Society of Leopold is a... I'm not even sure where you'd place them in terms of alignment, but they're just not a fan of Kindred, and they want to kill us because we exist. They are very faithful. In fact, one of their disciplines is True Faith, I think it's called. Sadly, we don't get to play as a vampire hunter, although I suppose it'd be a little silly to in this game. Vampires are extraordinarily strong. Anyway.
Yeah,
I need to
Go on.
sorry, go on.
No, I was actually done there.
There is a degree of immediacy attached.
I was only just going to interject with the vampire hunters basically kill vampires for God because they're seen as an abomination unto God. But they also they receive quite a decent amount of pleasure from it, which is kind of twisted as well in its own right.
Yeah, I mean, if you take active joy in the eradication and killing of vampires, then, you know,
Yeah.
regardless of your
The
affiliation.
Inquisition.
Yeah.
They're the Inquisition, essentially, for vampires.
It doesn't end well. Right. Just to bring you up to speed, we are now in the museum. We've been tasked by Lacroix to go grab the sarcophagus for him, and we're going to meet with a very unfortunate reality, which is that in about 15 seconds' time, we're going to realize it isn't here. We are, however, going to meet up with a fan favorite character called Beckett. We did see him earlier in the run, but we were a little distracted from talking about him. Beckett is a gangrel, if memory serves. And he is a archaeologist. He is like a vampire historian. He studies kindred and everything related to us. He's a fantastic character. You'll get to see more of him in greater detail in like a casual run, but sadly that is the last we're going to see of Beckett for this.
Not really. Sorta. But yeah, one thing that's also interesting to know is the effect of the abilities on humans, where you can use certain disciplines just to kind of stun them and whatnot, as well as you saw in Grout's Mansion, where you're able to stun that other kindred by means of your abilities. You don't necessarily have to kill them, and it's not necessarily a Masquerade violation, but you can just buy some time, and they will also periodically drop items, such as the key item that was in the museum. Yeah.
Whew, okay. Right, E-tight. Oh my goodness. What is my movement? we reported to LaCroix that the sarcophagus is missing. We couldn't bring it back to him, and he suspects that a certain primogen named Gorgeous Gary Golden has stolen it from him and sold that information on. He sold the lot to someone else. Now, we're in Hollywood Cemetery now, and this is where the biggest sequence break in the game will be coming up. I will have to actually focus here, so I'm going to hand it over to you then, and if you want to hand over to donations, then that is at your will. I'm going to try get this without so much pain. Right, good.
Yeah.
Wish me luck.
No problem at all. I would like to first pop it over to possible donations.
Oh, possible donations.
That's
We
good.
have definite donations. And we have
Sweet.
I know, even better. We have quite a large one that came in. $1,000 from Gravity Pike, who says, "This whole event is a masquerade violation. Keep it up." With a little vampire emoji at the end. It's so cute. Oh gosh. We also have $10 from Invictus Rex, who says, "All hail Clan Toreador." Couple people getting their couple people getting their preferences in. Oh, we have another one too. $25 from Acolyte, who says, "Bloodlines on a GDQ. What a time to be alive." Huge fan of the PTM franchise, from the tabletop to LARPing to Bloodlines. Good luck, runner, and praise Kane.
Praise Cain. Remember, vampire, wherever we go,
Wherever it goes.
it is the blood of Cain
It's
which
the
makes
blood
our
of Cain.
fate.
But not farewell vampire just yet. We still have the game to go.
Yes.
But basically, we are currently like sequence breaking this quite a bit. We have entirely decided to forget about the Baron of Hollywood here, who is Abrams, who was also the director of many films, a lot of media, and yeah, he's also a Toreador. So there's a basically Hollywood is the town. It is all just for Toreadors, pretty much. But also, deep beneath the crypts here lies someone very important who has already been mentioned, called Gary. Gorgeous Gary Golden. And what we are going to be doing now is we're going to be positioning that barrel and retrieve. There is a position at the wall there, in the near the corner, sort of, but also we need Romero to get inside of this little section of the crypt in order to get a skip. And what the skip is, you lure him with the knife so that he's kind of pushing the character, the playable character, in towards the wall, and you basically get the barrel kind of position that as well, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna nudge yourself into a specific part of that corner, and bloop, you go through a wall. Don't worry, ceilings, walls, and what have you, merely suggestions. They do not actually necessarily exist. So this is probably, yeah, that was an unfortunate one. But Romero can be a little, he can be a little bit spicy sometimes.
He most
But
certainly
once you get
can.
it, you get it.
We have to use the previous quick save, I'm afraid. So the way this works is Romero acts with Spectral Wolf, right? So we cast it on him. Yep, run in here now. Oh, these doors, man. Mold Rising. So when we cast Spectral Wolf on Romero, it's going to kill him, right? But it's going to give him static collision. And we're going to use some variable collision in the form of the barrel. Oh, I am so low. Help!
There we go. Whew. Just in the nick of time. So around here, there's usually a little door, a compartment which you would, if you were going through the actual game correctly and as intended, you would emerge from this little section right here. And hey, well done.
Okay, right. All the risky stuff is done. Right. So this will take us into the end of the Warrens, where we can just walk up and speak to gorgeous Gary Golden.
By the clack.
By the clack smack cracking of his thumbs,
I'm over.
something wicked this way comes.
Exactly.
So
You don't.
we will actually get to see his face momentarily. He is not as hideous as he'd have you believe. Look at him. He's not that awful, right?
Recognize me from the pictures? Where? Oh, I know. The
Right. So he knows where
You up?
our Ankaran sarcophagus is.
Of course.
And he has essentially sold it on to the Kuei Jin, which are the Eastern vampires. They're not quite kindred as we are, to my understanding. But he says, hey, if you want your prince's prize, if you want this sarcophagus and to be his best pal, then go to Chinatown and rescue my friend Barabbas, but we won't be doing that. We're just going to be going to Chinatown and then sequence breaking once more to just get into the last area. I'm going to have to heal. I'm ever so slightly worried I don't actually have enough blood.
I reckon you'll be alright, to be fair.
I'm not so sure. Actually, no, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you're grand.
That was due to me being super slow. But it's all right.
The moment you... Yeah.
It's okay. It's
The
fine.
moment you step foot into Hollywood, this individual usually comes up and says, yo, you gotta go see the Baron. You gotta see Abrams. And trust me, you're gonna wanna see Abrams. But yeah, we ignore it entirely. And then hopping over to Chinatown. So we've essentially saved, like, what? About, like, 10, like 15 minutes of time just by doing that alone, or even more.
Well, skipping Hollywood and the Warrens, in a casual playthrough, you'd have saved yourself about, honestly, hours. I know at the top level, when that skip was first discovered, it saved about 8... Oh, that was bad by me. It saved about 8 minutes on the top end, discovering the Warren skip. I am being a doofus. Let's just do this smart. Right, so the sequence break Chinatown, jump on the lantern, and then you jump on this invisible wall here. Ordinarily, you won't be able to access this part until the final section of the game. However, through out-of-bounds trickery, we can. So that is exactly what we're going to do. I have had so many opportunities to just get this job already, and I've botched all of them. Right, jump over that fence. We're now going to make our way inside the Kuei-jin barracks.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that you're currently in Elysium, which is a E that you see on top of the blue bar there, which is representative of your health. And the red bar is indicative of how much blood you have in your blood pool for abilities and such. However, when you are in Elysium, you cannot attack, you cannot use any disciplines, you are strictly only allowed to walk, which is why you would have maybe a little bit of an issue there. But thankfully, Vyse came through, because he's good at this.
Debatable.
World record holder. I'm not sure there's much debate.
In the other three categories, yes, but not this one. The person that has Reki for this category is so much better than me. It's obscene. But
No, you're catching up though, I believe. In other categories, yes, absolutely 100% world record.
yeah, shout outs to
And then-
Lassie. I don't know if it's Icy or Lassie, but they are the GOAT. They are unbelievably talented when it comes to this run. But, yeah.
Yeah, and we were able to skip a whole series of the one part in the entire game where you have to push a thing onto a platform, like a pressure plate.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one time in the game, and you actually you can do that solely just by dropping your lockpick and standing on the one opposite, and then just going down under here. And you're also meant to talk to Ming Zhao, who is essentially what would be like the Baron or the princess or what have you of the Kuei-jin, the vampires of the East. And now they're trying to take territory in this area. They do not like kindred whatsoever. They're also vampires, but they are not born of the curse of Cain, let's put it that way. And so they are trying to take over the entire region, or as much of it as possible, through their own little schemes. And right now what we're doing is, having sequence broken so much, we have just decided to take it upon ourselves to ruin their schemes. That is by collecting their statues, stealing all of them, and putting them on these little podiums here.
That's
I
right.
do want to
And
quickly let everyone know that we did break $150,000 raised for Prevent Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much,
Hey.
everyone, for that.
incredible work, folks.
We did have
Thank you so much. That's actually incredible.
LaCroix.
That is obscenely good. Thank you, everybody. It is a pleasure to be a part of this, to be totally honest. Right, so
The best fight.
boss fight coming up. Ming Zhao. everyone's favorite fight. She's extraordinarily tanky. She does a lot of damage. I've got blood packs, which are sort of like your med kits of this game, bound to a hotkey, which will both heal me and restore my blood pool so I can continue spamming Burrowing Beetle. Right, I'm going to be real. My first playthrough, it took me about 3 hours to kill her, so killing her in about 40 seconds is satisfying on a level that I can't actually express. Right, we have time coming up for this in about 7 seconds, but I'll obviously tell you as of when. In fact, tell you what, 3, 2, 1, time.
GG.
So,
Hey.
Ming Zhao is
GG.
and soon all her
Okay,
devils
so-
will share her fate. Los Angeles.
There are a few endings to VTMB, and it has had a lot of support through community patches by Wesp, which has made the game very much playable and added and restored lots of content that was otherwise not available for whatever reasoning. But that is it for any percent Nosferatu. Thank you very much for joining me. Just want to say a few thanks very quickly. I promise I won't take up much time. Firstly, thank you to GDQ for having me on. It's been a pleasure showcasing one of my favorite games of all time and interacting with so many people. I've watched GDQ for years and years and years, so it is actually quite surreal being a runner on it, which is, yeah, I'm a big fan, to put it one way. I'd like to thank the people that have been around, popped by my own stream to, you know, keep me motivated and the likes. I'd like to give a very special thank you to Pat, Vevin, Ulala, Vynn, obviously, Alucard and Zofia, and everyone else from the other speedrun communities that have turned up to actually, you know, make this possible. If you're interested in learning of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, all the information is available on the speedrun.com page. I've also recently put out a 2023 tutorial on how to do this route. I promise it's a little more concise and a little easier to follow than what I've shown you here tonight. Last but certainly not least, a big thank you to Mike Iyama, who made all of this possible to begin with. So thank you from myself and everyone else that has been here to witness what GDQ has become. With that said, I would like to hand over to Vynn for any final comments that she'd like to make, and then that'll be it from me.
Simply thank you very much for having me as commentary for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because it is also one of my favorite games. Been playing this for years. And to see it kind of on GDQ again and being able to participate as well has been nothing short of beautiful. Thank you very much. And hopefully, if you are interested as well in this game, I would highly recommend giving it a go after a casual run through first,
Yes.
please. And with all that said, thank you very much. I'm going to pass that back over to the host. Thank you once again.
Wow, thank you so much to both of you. That was a really fun run. So excited that we got to see it here on the GDQ channel. I also want to give everyone a quick update on our schedule. I know some things moved around, but I want to let you know that in addition to SSX coming up a little bit later tonight, which is a snowboarding game, we're going to be bringing you even more boarding action with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, run by Nace. That will be the any percent category, and that's actually going to be coming up next. So you don't have long to wait for some awesome cool tricks and skateboarding action. For our previous one, I want to read one final donation, $15 from Roxas of Clan Tremere, who says, had to donate during VTM. Everyone should play this game for the storyline and for a new appreciation for modern games. Thank you again to our previous runner and commentator, and to all of you out there. Now's a good time to take a quick break, because we'll be back before you know it with more quick and awesome games. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online, powered by Twitch. We are in the middle of quite a heated basketball game as well, it looks like. I'm loving these new animations in between runs. Thank you so much to the tech team for pulling that one through. Of course, if you are just joining us, we are raising money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation all week long. We have a fantastic lineup of games, and of course, up next is our double super skating block. We are going to be watching Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, followed by SSX 2000. And if you'd like to influence what happens in this next set of runs, SSX 2000 actually has a character choice bid war open, and it is heated. Only about $15 between the top two options. Right now, Kaori is still in the lead with $286.20, but Zoe is so close behind with $271. Again, Zoe is the faster option, so if you want to see the fastest possible snowboarding, maybe get some donations in for that now. We also have bid wars coming up later for Armored Core, where we can do a choice of our mech camo. Right now, Duck Hunter is in the lead, but there's plenty of options for that one. We also have a costume choice for Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Spider-Verse is in the lead on that one, but Advanced Tech is within striking distance of the top. If incentives are more what you're looking for, we are so close to this Cultic Void Flush Showcase. That is less than $300 away from being met. So if you're not sure where to put your incentive when you're donating, make sure to click that one. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our Portal bonus game. That's right, if we hit $80,000 raised on that incentive by tomorrow when it's on the schedule, we will get to see a bonus run of Portal in the marathon. We're currently at just over $21,000 on the way to making that happen. So thank you again to everyone for getting those donations in. We also have so many donations. I am loving seeing them all come through. Thank you so much for all of your support to Prevent Cancer Foundation. We have $10 from Gamma Ray, who says, first donation of the marathon. Already hit $150,000? Way to go, everyone. Let's go. Also, thanks to Vice for the awesome run. That was a fantastic run, and we have so much more love coming in for that as well. We had $100 from Garotix, who says, the pyramid is watching your run closely, Vysetra. Yours, Clan Tremere. Oh gosh, Clan Tremere sounds kind of scary. I don't think I'd want to run into them. Thank goodness for the Masquerade. Hopefully I never do. We also have a very sweet $200 from Danielle, who says, for Mom and Dad. Thank you so much for that. And the shoutouts don't end there. We have $25 from the Brain Blast, who says, I've only been into speedrunning for a few months now, but I've always known of the legendary AGDQ, and I'm glad to finally be here to catch it and be in on the hype. Shout out to my grandpa, a 2X cancer survivor. Yes, shout out to your grandpa. Honestly, shout out to family. I know so many of us have had family members who have been affected by cancer. This is such a wonderful cause to be raising money for. In case you're not familiar with them, the Prevent Cancer Foundation, founded in 1985, is a US-based nonprofit organization. Their mission is to save lives across all populations through cancer prevention and early detection by focusing their work through research, education, outreach, and advocacy. Their vision is to stop cancer before it starts. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. That's preventcancer.org. And speaking of which, that donation total, every time I see it, it goes up and it makes me so happy. We have already raised $151,010 for the Prevent Cancer Foundation just today, just over the course of the marathon so far. We have 6 more days of this to go, chat. We can raise so much money for this fantastic cause. It really does warm my heart to see everyone being willing to contribute to something this fantastic. And hey, if you're in chat, if you're watching, if you're sharing our stream, if you're letting other people know about GDQ, you're helping too. Go ahead and give yourself a lovely pat on the back. You're part of what is making a difference, and you, yes, you, are part of what's making this world a better place.